everybody, Alex the Critic here, and it's once again time for me to rip apart a stupid video that I found on the internet. This is Cancerous Commentaries. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's finally happened. A slideshow commentator has responded to one of my videos. The commentator in question goes by the name sandisratherheavy, but I'm going to call him Sandy. The video of his that's directed at me is titled Alex is a Real Boy, parentheses, Alex the Critic. And that's what I'm going to be covering today. As always, there's some context that I need to go over before I can begin, so let's get that out of the way first.
On February 7th, 2023, I uploaded a commentary titled Jordan Peterson Hates You, parentheses, the Commentator. My commentary was a response to a slideshow commentator named, well, the Commentator, who several months before had uploaded a commentary of his own to a cartoon reviewer named Lobster Hero. What did Lobster Hero do that drew Ephraim's ire? He uploaded a video in which he chastised a pop culture commentator and media reviewer named Veritas Joey for falsely claiming that he was a harasser in a video that Joey made criticizing the hatedom of a cartoon named High Guardian Spice. Ephraim didn't think that Veritas Joey actually did call Lobster Hero a harasser, a point he attempted to prove throughout his entire commentary. Unfortunately, I didn't think he did a very good job, which led to me making a commentary of my own on that video. That's where sandisratherheavy comes in. Sandy thought that my response to Ephraim was similarly bad, and so on March 18th, he uploaded a response to it.
There's a lot more to this chain of videos that I left out for the sake of time, so I recommend going back and watching the first 6 minutes of my original commentary on Ephraim if you want to get caught up on all of the details regarding this drama. Now that all of that useless bullshit is out of the way, let's get things started. Nothing assures me that I'm gonna be receiving honest, good-faith criticism than a response that literally opens with the responder telling me that they're going to be skipping through large portions of my video because they couldn't be bothered to come up with any arguments to the points that I raised during those portions. That's one way to argue, I guess.
Don't believe me? Look at my resume! 30 years experience and check it off!
So for context, Veritas Joe made a video on the High Guardian Spice hatedom, Lobster Hero made a video on that video, Ephraim made a video on Crustaceans video, Alex the Lion, he has the mane, it's fucking majestic, made a video on Effie's video, and now I'm making a video on Alex's video.
So right off the bat, this is a horrible explanation of the series of events that led to the making of this response that fails to give the audience any reason to care about what you have to say. I understand that you wanted to cut right to the chase, but would it have killed you to give at least a brief synopsis of the debate being had here? That would make it much easier for a casual viewer to be able to follow what's going on, which is the reason why I spend so much time giving the context to each of my commentaries before I start them.
Don't believe me? Look at my resume! 30 years experience and check it off!
High Guardian Spice found itself at the center of an internet firestorm after the release of its first trailer all the way back in August of 2018. What was so wrong with this trailer? Well, for one, it spent more time emphasizing the demographics of the staff that worked on the show rather than anything about the show itself.
Alex, what's wrong with your nose? It's growing. Hi there, so I put your claim to the test. I'll be nice and assume by spent more time emphasizing the demographics of the staff that work on the show rather than anything about the show itself, you meant talking about identity politics and diversity. Because in the clip you show after, they say the lines,
"It's a very modern reflection of the world,
and
our characters are really diverse,"
which are things about the show itself, not about the demographics of the staff. You real boy.
Technically, Sandy's right, but that still doesn't defeat my point that the trailer for High Guardian Spice fails to provide any meaningful information about the show's story and characters. Telling me that your characters are, quote, diverse, and that your show's world will be a, quote, reflection of the real world is about as substantive as telling me that your Magical Girl show is going to have magic in it.
So the trailer spends 28 seconds talking about the show itself, 26 seconds talking about that liberal shiz, 21 seconds talking about the demographics of the staff, and 31 seconds sucking Crunchyroll's Crunchyroll. Because you said anything about the show. Your exact words. Yes, I'm being pedantic. Trust me, I could be more pedantic.
Admitting that your point is pedantic doesn't change the fact that it's pedantic. Should I have worded myself better here? Sure. But does that refute my criticism that the trailer does a poor job of selling prospective viewers on the show?
No. No, man. Shit, no, man. I believe you get your ass kicked saying something like that, man.
Another dogged contender.
I've got a face like a slapped ass.
Now, all of this could be forgiven if its story and characters were halfway decent, but...
Lavender and I met when we were students here together, our first year. We were a lot like you and your friend Sage, actually.
What? How?
Totally inseparable. This was our first everything hours. Dorks.
Mom looks so fierce in the uniform. Is that your sister?
It's me, actually.
You are a girl?
I'm transgender.
I don't know that word.
I was born into a female body, but it wasn't the right body for me. So, I used new magic to change it.
Cool. You can do that? Is that kind of transformation magic permanent?
I take a potion once a month to keep the spell active.
Yeah, no, this show just sucks.
Alex, just let me get this straight. Just between us consumers of alarm clocks, you were willing to forgive bad voice acting, bad animation, and fucking stock images, but the show taking a minute to mention trans people was the nail in the coffin for you.
You're damn right it was, nigga. Fuck them trannies.
Oh no, they took a minute to say trans people exist. Where's my woke alarm? I won't be having any of this liberal shit in my strangely bloody children's cartoon.
There's two things that are funny about this point. Firstly, High Guardian Spice is not a children's cartoon. It is intended for adults.
For God's sake, every episode of High Guardian Spice opens with a mature content warning which explicitly states that the show is inappropriate for children.
Oops.
Secondly, a show being violent doesn't necessarily give its writers the freedom to shoehorn poorly written trans representation into it. So, what point are you trying to make here exactly? Somebody get Don Quixote off the mule. He's tilting at windmills again.
If you want to show that the story and characters are shit, then show that. The only thing we learn about the characters or story in this clip is that there is a trans character, and something called new magic helps with their transition. Then you call the show trash.
Hold the phone there, Sandy. I did provide an explanation for my reaction to that scene. It was in the description of my video, where I said, quote, "Turns out the ham-fisted trans representation isn't the worst thing to come out of High Guardian Spice." While I agree that I should have put in an actual explanation for why I thought that scene was bad, I think it's rather negligent of you to leave out that little nugget of information.
I don't know if you meant this in a transphobic way, but I'm not seeing many other ways this could be interpreted.
I will give you credit for making a cogent argument as to how my comment could be construed as transphobic instead of just blindly accusing me of being transphobic and moving on. That's a level of charity that I didn't expect from a slideshow commentator, so kudos. Yeah, we get it, Alex. High Guardian Spice is a terrible cartoon made by shitty people that you and the rest of the internet hate. What does any of that have to do with this commentary? Don't worry, convenient audience strawman. I'll explain it to you.
Please do. It's been 6 minutes and we haven't mentioned Ephraim yet.
That's rich coming from the person who not only wasted the first 2 minutes of their video on jokes that had nothing to do with anything, but then couldn't be bothered to actually give any of the context behind the video he was responding to. Call me crazy, but I would rather be given too much information than no information.
Another dogged contender.
I've got a face like a slapped ass.
Wait, how are you gonna complain that I take too long to explain why any of this matters, and then go on to skip the part of the video where I explain why any of this matters? Yeah, for those of you who didn't watch my Ephraim commentary, this was the part of it where I tied all of the information that I brought up together, and I'll play it for you so that you guys understand what I'm saying.
While the vast majority of people were more than happy to shit on High Guardian Spice after it was first announced, there were some people out there who disliked how harsh the backlash towards the show was. One of those people was a media reviewer and pop culture commentator by the name of Veridish Joey. On February 12th, 2022, a few months after the show aired, Joey uploaded a 19-minute long video titled High Guardian Spice, Harassment Isn't Criticism, in which he lambasted the hatedom of the show for giving unconstructive feedback and generally just being shitty people out to harass the show's creators for petty reasons.
This wouldn't bug me so much if it weren't for the fact that you don't explain why you're skipping this part of my video. So as far as your audience is concerned, they're just gonna think that I continue to ramble on about things that were irrelevant to the subject at hand for another 40 seconds. This is a blatant example of cutting out context.
There were a select few people who raised some issues with it. One of those people just so happened to be somebody whom Joey called out in the video itself, a cartoon reviewer by the name of Lobster Hero. On March 11th, 2022, Lobster Hero uploaded a response to the portions of Joey's video that targeted him.
He had a screenshot of Lobster Hero's video up for quite literally 7 seconds.
Nigga, I don't care if those screenshots were on the screen for a single frame. Veridish Joey was still accusing Lobster Hero of being a harasser by virtue of them being shown during the part of the video where Veridish Joey was explicitly talking about the people that were harassing the showrunners of High Guardian Spice.
But that is not the same as trying to get under a creator's skin on social media and actively trying to get yourself blocked. Like, y'all be like, oh, let me piss the creator off who is definitely already on edge from months of harassment and being lambasted for just making something. And then you motherfuckers would be mean as hell and just flat out say, hey, what you made is garbage and you're a spineless, soulless person for making this and you should feel bad for making it, you dumb idiot. And then when you catch the block, you'll be like, oh, haha, what a weak individual who can't take criticism. You should stay off the internet. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Bitch. Can't take the heat? You're the one stoking the fire.
If he wasn't trying to do that, then he would have flashed these screenshots during the segment immediately preceding this one, where he talks about reviewers who leave good faith, constructive criticism. But guess what? He didn't.
There's nothing wrong with criticizing a piece of media at all. Art is subjective and there can be objective problems with it and fundamental rules being broken.
For crying out loud, he reads out part of the title of Lobster Hero's video during his fucking tangent.
Then you motherfuckers would be mean as hell and just flat out say, hey, what you made is garbage and you're a spineless, soulless person for making this and you should feel bad for making it, you dumb idiot. And
What more do you want?
The video was also titled High Guardian Spice, Harassment Isn't Criticism. How is that title not accusatory? If you would like to dispute my claim with your own evidence, then be my guest. Otherwise, shut up.
Don't believe me? Look at my resume. 30 years experience and jack it off!
In my humble opinion, Lobster Hero did a fantastic job exposing Joey's video for the disingenuous hit piece it was. Sadly, not everybody agrees with me.
Ro, did you know that people can disagree with my opinion on the internet?
What a tragedy.
Almost like people aren't a hive mind. Oh, the horror.
You do know that opinions can be objectively correct, regardless of how one feels about those that hold said opinions, right?
That brings us to the target of today's commentary.
Oh, I think we're here. Ro, I think it's time.
I do not care.
Time we get to the subject of the video. Oh, if we're lucky.
A slideshow commentator by the name of the Commentator.
Yay! We're finally at the subject of the video. 7 minutes 47 seconds in and Alex has mentioned the funny title person.
Dude, if you really have that big of a problem with the amount of time I spend giving my audience the background information behind Ephraim's video, then I have 3 solutions for you. 1. Put the video on 2x speed until you get to the part of it where I start responding to Ephraim. 2. Skip to the part of the video where I respond to Ephraim. 3. Kiss my ass. It's not like I'm forcing you to watch all of this exposition by holding a gun up to your head. I would grant you this point if you had provided an actual argument for it, like that I kept repeating information that I already shared, or I provided irrelevant information, but you didn't. You just said that the length of my intro was a problem, but you didn't explain why it was a problem. How am I supposed to learn what to fix about the structure of my videos if you won't tell me what's broken about the structure of my videos?
Context still isn't done though, so...
Or Ephraim for short. On April 4th, 2022, Ephraim uploaded a response to Lobster Hero's video in which he attempted to defend Joey from Lobster Hero's criticisms. How did that go?
It is, without exaggeration, one of the worst commentaries that came out of 2022.
So terrible, the like to dislike ratio is 78.3% positive.
By that logic, I could just as easily argue that my commentary on Ephraim is also a good video, as it has an 82.8% positive like to dislike ratio. Considering that you're currently responding to it, however, I'm willing to bet that you don't think it was very good.
Oops.
Do you now see how a video having a positive reception doesn't automatically mean it's good? And now, you guys get to experience its shittiness with me. Roll the footage, editor.
He made the pog face. It took this man 8 minutes to start Ephraim's video. I get context is important and all, but we don't need a fucking video essay on how the pink thing from High Guardian Spice ate your shoelaces.
Does anybody else think it's a bad look that the guy who chastised me for giving too much context for my video has no problem padding his own video out with jokes, nor with skipping past large chunks of my video? I'm just saying, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house.
Need to be nicer to industry people. Them being in the industry and making something you don't like is no excuse for you to be rooted in or absolutely shit on what they've worked on in an absolutely non-constructive manner. There's nothing wrong with criticizing a piece of media at all. Art is subjective and there can be objective problems with it and fundamental rules being broken. But that is not the same as trying to get under creator skin on social media and actively trying to get yourself blocked. Like I'll be like, oh, let me piss the creator off who is definitely already on edge from months of and being lambasted for just making something. And then you motherfuckers will be mean as hell and just say, hey, what you made is garbage and you're a spineless, soulless person for making this and you should feel bad for making it, you dumb idiot. And then when you catch the block, you'll be like, oh haha, what a weak individual who can't take criticism. You just stay off the internet. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Bitch, can't take the heat? You're the one stoking the fire. You literally just said, hey, this is garbage. Why wouldn't they block you? Like, are you dense?
Would you care to present any of my tweets? You know, the ones where I apparently harass the creators?
I'm getting the rest of Lobster's point. This com's now a double com. Ro, are you happy?
Rich.
What's that? Those do not exist? In fact, I have never been in any kind of contact with the creators of High Guardian Spice. Well, why the hell am I being lumped in with this conversation then? Dishonesty? No! I am shocked and appalled.
My gamer in Christ, your video is quite literally called "The creator of High Guardian Spice is spineless and soulless."
Grow the hell up, you little snowflake. If I titled this video "Sandy is a spineless, unfunny hack," would you accuse me of harassing you? If you wanted to be taken seriously by anyone, then no, you wouldn't. Does it suck to have thousands of people hurl insults at you over the internet? Yes, but that doesn't make Lobster Hero a harasser for joining the hate-dom. There are probably millions of people who've called Donald Trump soulless or a fascist. Would you accuse any of them of harassment? Where do we draw the line with this kind of logic?
You didn't slide into their DMs or tweet the video at them, I'll give you that. But to act as if you're 100% innocent and have no idea why you're being lumped in with the harassers is disingenuous at best.
So tell me, Sandy, are you gonna explain why Lobster Hero isn't 100% innocent? I mean, surely you're gonna explain why this particular video of his is so objectionable, and why it could be construed as harassment towards the showrunners of High Guardian Spice, right?
Fuck. I just said disingenuous. Is this what being a commentator feels like? I don't like it. Ro, if I learn what an ad hominem is, please shoot me.
You didn't need to ask.
Nope. You're just gonna make that claim and then hope that the audience just blindly agrees with you? Explain to me again how you're not trying to justify what Joey did to Lobster Hero. And how come this logic can't then be used against the showrunners of High Guardian Spice? The showrunners of High Guardian Spice aren't 100% innocent either. I mean, did you just forget the part of my F-From commentary where I went over all of Crunchyroll's shady business decisions?
High Guardian Spice found itself at the center of an internet firestorm after the release of its first trailer all the way back in August of 2018. What was so wrong with this trailer? Well, for one, it spent more time emphasizing the demographics of the staff that worked on the show rather than anything about the show itself.
It's a very modern reflection of the world. Our characters are really diverse, our cast is really diverse, and that's one of the things that excited me the most about it.
We are 50% female in all the creative roles, and our writer's room is 100% female. I mean, this is what my whole career has been about, is trying to get those voices in there that are not being heard.
For two, one of the writers that were hired to work on the show, Kate Leth, was found to have posted some rather unsavory things about men on Twitter. For three, Crunchyroll subscribers hated that the service was funding the creation of an American cartoon when that money was supposed to be going to underfunded anime studios in Japan.
You couldn't have forgotten that because you yourself agreed that these were good criticisms to bring up.
Another dogged contender.
I've got a face like a slapped ass.
So you agree that the showrunners of High Guardian Spice did all of these bad things, and yet you still want us to believe that Lobster Hero calling them soulless trumps all of that?
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit!
Another dogged contender.
I've got a face like a slapped ass.
I'm trying my damnedest to be charitable to you, but when you skip past 2 whole ass minutes of my video right after making a baseless claim about Lobster Hero, it makes it really hard for me not to think that you're being intellectually dishonest.
Funny glitchko, brr.
Yeah, one of the issues with editing with Movie Maker is that videos will sometimes render improperly, which leads to glitches like this popping up. Usually they pop up fairly early in the editing process, which is when it's most convenient for me to just re-download the video and have it render again. This time though, the glitch popped up after I finished rendering the final draft of my commentary, and I was just too lazy to go back and render it again. That one's on me, guys. Sorry about that.
Garbage, and you're a spineless, soulless person for making this, and you should feel bad for making it, you dumb idiot.
What's that? Those do not exist? In fact, I have never been in any kind of contact with the creators of High Guardian Spice. Well, why the hell am I being lumped in with this conversation then?
Because you are part of the overall hate towards High Guardian Spice that was being discussed in Joe's video.
Okay, and Lobster Hero expressing his dislike of High Guardian Spice makes it a-okay for Veritas Joey to accuse him of being a harasser without evidence?
What? But that's not... What? Just let me replay this for a sec. Why am I being lumped in with the conversation? Because you're part of the High Guardian Spice hatedom being discussed. Ephraim is justifying Lobsty Wobsty being accused of harassment without evidence. Alex, are you sure you don't have a Twitter account? Dude, https://www.youtube.com/@AlexTheCritic3365 really be the only place where well-articulated sentences still get misinterpreted.
Sandy, allow me to walk you through a little thing called basic communication. When Lobster Hero asks the question, why the hell am I being lumped in with this conversation then, he's accusing Veritas Joey of falsely labeling him a harasser for merely criticizing the showrunners of High Guardian Spice. After all, why would Veritas Joey flash screenshots of Lobster Hero's content during his segment about harassers if he wasn't trying to make that claim? By answering his question with, because you're part of the overall hatedom that Joey was discussing in his video, Ephraim isn't refuting Lobster Hero's claim, but instead justifying Joey's action. You had X happen to you because Veritas Joey was doing Y. That would be fine if his point hadn't immediately been preceded by this one.
Would you care to present any of my tweets? You know, the ones where I apparently harass the creators?
He doesn't actually need to, because he wasn't talking about you when he was discussing those actions.
Ephraim can't on one hand say, Veritas Joey wasn't talking about you when he was discussing the harassers of the showrunners of High Guardian Spice, therefore he isn't accusing you of harassment. And then on the other hand say, Joey is lumping you in with the discussion about the harassers of the showrunners of High Guardian Spice because you're part of the overall hatedom of High Guardian Spice that he's discussing. Do you not see how those 2 points are completely contradictory? Because to lump someone in with a conversation about a group is to accuse them of being a part of that group. Otherwise, why would you use them as one of your examples when talking about the group? Ephraim's arguing that Joey didn't do that, because the screenshots that Joey put up during his segment about the harassers were, quote, very notable for not being you.
Hence why he put up screenshots of people who are very notable for not being you when topics like harassing the creators came up.
Conveniently forgetting that Joey did, in fact, put up screenshots of Lobster Hero's content during the segment in question.
Then you motherfuckers would be mean as hell and just flat out say, hey, what you made is garbage and you're a spineless, soulless person for making this and you should feel bad for making it, you dumb idiot.
And in case one instance of contradiction wasn't enough for you, Ephraim also denies that Veritas Joey called Lobster Hero a harasser during this point of his video.
If you had watched the video, you would have found out what the video is actually about. Not harassment.
Which he never claimed. In fact, he just said that you were criticizing High Guardian Spice in a manner that wasn't constructive. But, you know, details.
So it's not that I'm misconstruing Ephraim's well-articulated sentences. It's that you don't like how I'm drawing the only possible conclusion that one could draw from those sentences because it makes Ephraim look bad. But guess what? That's not my problem, nigga. If Ephraim didn't want to look bad, then he wouldn't have tried to justify what Joey did, nor would he have contradicted himself so blatantly.
To paraphrase Ephraim, you're included in the video because you're part of the hatedom being discussed is not justifying the crustacean being accused of harassment. Those are two different sentences, you real boy.
And if you weren't ignoring what Ephraim said right before he made that point, you might have actually been right. Once again, Ephraim denied that Joey was talking about Lobster Hero in the segment of the video in question.
Would you care to present any of my tweets? You know, the ones where I apparently harass the creators?
He doesn't actually need to, because he wasn't talking about you when he was discussing those actions.
I'll say it real slowly for you. If Veritas Joey wasn't talking about Lobster Hero at all within the video in question, then why did Ephraim concede that Joey lumped Lobster Hero in with the conversation about harassers? If Ephraim had an above room temperature IQ, then he would have responded to Lobster Hero's question by saying, Veritas Joey isn't talking about you, so I don't have to answer your question.
Another dogged contender.
I've got a face like a slapped ass.
Would you mind addressing any of my actual points? Playing them for the wider audience, so that they can form an informed opinion? No?
Wait, let me try something real quick.
Dishonesty? No. I am shocked and appalled. How could an intellectual titan such as yourself, with so many healthy and not at all insane takes... Objection! Would you mind addressing any of my actual points? Playing them for the wider audience, so that they can form an informed opinion? No?
It's like he's talking to himself.
The first time I watched this video, I thought this was a valid critique made by Ephraim.
His point that if you put a Phoenix Wright character in Mr. Krabs' video, it sounds like he's talking to himself? Is that a point? I think my brain is dying. Bro, can you explain what's going on?
I stopped paying attention at the 2-minute mark.
That's helpful. Thanks, Ro.
I can't blame Sandy for being confused here, as the point Ephraim is making is hard to understand thanks to how poorly articulated it is. With that said, allow me to break it down for you. Ephraim is claiming hypocrisy on Lobster Hero's part. As Lobster Hero critiqued Joey for not addressing the points in his video so that his audience could form an educated opinion about his content, only to lambast Joey for expressing insane takes in many of his videos without addressing any of the points made in those videos so that his audience could form an educated opinion about Joey's content. This seemed like a decent criticism to me at first, until I took into account the severity of the accusations being levied. Hopefully, you now understand where I'm coming from. However, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that his argument doesn't make a lick of sense.
Think about it for a second.
Trust me, I am trying.
In one corner, we have Veritas Joey, who's accusing Lobster Hero of being a harasser.
Okay, we have the guy who showed Krabs' thumbnail for 7 seconds.
You know what I love about that interjection? I outright say that Veritas Joey is accusing Lobster Hero of being a harasser, and instead of denying my claim, Sandy instead argues that the screenshots were only in the video for about 7 seconds. Either he was too lazy to write an extra line denying my claim in the script for his video before sitting down to record it, he was too stupid to realize that he just contradicted himself by failing to deny my claim, or he's being intellectually dishonest. Take your pick, guys.
In the other corner, we have Lobster Hero, who's slamming Joey's takes for being bad.
Being biased is not in and of itself a bad thing. It's only when you're ignoring reality to make your point that being biased towards or against a person becomes bad.
Don't believe me? Look at my resume! 30 years experience and jack it off!
You do not know anything about me, my views, my values, my ideals.
You don't even know me.
Alright, what's the joke here? That Lobster Hero is being a crybaby?
Yes. Yes it is. Good on you for pointing that out. Gold star.
So it's okay for Ephraim to call Lobster Hero a crybaby and for Veritas Joey to lump Lobster Hero in with harassers, and it's okay for one of the writers of High Guardian Spice to make sexist comments towards men, but Lobster Hero can't call the showrunners of High Guardian Spice soulless?
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Don't believe me? Look at my resume! 30 years experience and jack it off!
One who has actually seen one of my videos can tell that my approach to critiquing is equal parts comedic roasting and intellectual musing in nature.
I mean, you haven't really engaged in any comedic roasting in this video.
There was comedic roasting in this video. You just cut it out of your video. Roll the footage, editor.
I'm not gonna lie. I disagree with a lot of stuff you say, so I clicked on this, waiting for you to mischaracterize me and everyone else. But you know what? I was wrong. There was a lot of nuance here. Good video.
Learn the meaning of words before you use them.
Oh, get riggedy roasted, biatch.
How comedic and roasty.
Mr. Lobster, you truly are the roast master of the century.
Do we have a trophy for the radical roast master?
I have a bit of tinfoil and a Sharpie. Let's just... There you go. Fucking radical.
Normally, I only respond to a joke if it's either really bad or it ends up weakening a person's argument. This joke, unfortunately, lands in both categories. If the joke here is that Lobster Hero's roasts are terrible, then you're implying that you agree with the criticism of Ephraim I made that caused me to play these clips. Which was that he edited these parts of Lobster Hero's video out of his video so that his point about there being no comedic roasting in Lobster Hero's video would be stronger. Considering that you're trying to debunk my video, that's not a good look for you. If the joke here is that I have a hilariously bad perception of what a comedic roast is, then you haven't done that good of a job of convincing me of your conclusion.
But then again...
using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Oh no, Mr. Lobster. I think you might actually be mixing up exhaustive, as in including all elements or aspects, fully comprehensive, and excessive, as in more than is necessary. It's fine though, they're very similar words. Both start with an E.
Don't worry guys, I'm sure that this time, Sandy will actually explain why he feels that Lobster Hero's critiques of High Guardian Spice are excessive, and isn't just gonna make that claim and then just hope that his audience blindly agrees with him.
Thank you for making this. YouTube keeps suggesting these awful High Guardian Spice mock title videos to me, and it's exhausting to see on my sidebar. I can't imagine how awful the creator feels.
Oh no, woe is me. I get recommended videos with opinions I don't agree with. Feel sorry for me and the creators of this shitty cartoon.
Comedic roasting.
Ouch, we struck out again. Earlier in this video, you criticized me for not explaining my distaste for the trans scene in High Guardian Spice.
If you want to show that the story and characters are shit, then show that. The only thing we learn about the characters or story in this clip is that there is a trans character, and something called new magic helps with their transition. Then you call the show trash.
Now here you are, making your second baseless claim about Lobster Hero. Talk about lacking self-awareness.
Hey, how about showing concern for the people getting actually slandered here? But hey, agenda is agenda. Can't show fair treatment towards people you don't agree with. That's the way of the modern self-entitled creator.
Oh, sorry for not getting on my knees and sucking your toesy woesies, my dear aquatic overlord. Alex, come get your boy. He's starting to sound like a Gmod admin.
Okay, you know what? Fuck you, Sandy. You know that's not what Lobster Hero wants. Stop arguing in bad faith, asshole.
Another dogged contender.
I've got a face like a slapped ass.
Anyway, that's really all I care about. I really just kind of wanted to make fun of a lobster for a couple of minutes, and this did succeed.
And now you guys know what inspired the title of this video.
Who the fuck is Jordan Peterson? Is he a mean fisherman? If it's the bits in the brackets, then no shit. I figured that out like 18 minutes ago.
I really don't know if he's fucking with me or not here, but on the off chance that he's not...
Jordan Peterson is a clinical psychologist who rose to international prominence for opposing an anti-discrimination law that was proposed in his native country of Canada that he claimed would have compelled people to use the preferred pronouns of transgendered individuals under penalty of a fine. The reason why I titled my commentary the way I did is because Peterson is a supporter of societal hierarchies, considering them fundamental to sustaining a functioning society. One of the animals he uses as evidence for his position are lobsters, and his constant references to lobsters became a joke both within and outside of his fanbase. Since Lobster Hero's persona is that of a, well, lobster, and Ephraim is criticizing him, the joke is that Jordan Peterson would hate him.
Now that's comedy.
So, final thoughts? I'm starting to think this guy does not like High Guardian Spice. Do not ask where I've gotten that impression, it's just a small hunch.
Wow. Those were the most useless final thoughts I think I've ever heard in a commentary.
I dunno. Just between us drinkers of Pepsi Max Cherry, I think they're pretty accurate.
That was my point, dumbass.
These final thoughts can also be supplemented with this image. Seriously, pause the video and read it, it's pretty funny.
You're 100% right, Ephraim. Fractured Light's comment is pretty funny.
Well, that's nice of you. I also think it's pretty funny. You know, I do get the vibe that the crab was coping, seething, and moulding. And yeah, Veridis Joe didn't say anything bad about the crab. Didn't even mention him by name. Just showed his thumbnail for 7 seconds.
Uh-oh, looks like Sandy forgot what he said only a few minutes ago.
My gamer in Christ, your video is quite literally called "The creator of High Guardian Spice is spineless and soulless." You didn't slide into their DMs or tweet the video at them, I'll give you that. But to act as if you're 100% innocent and have no idea why you're being lumped in with the harassers is disingenuous at best.
So which is it, huh? Did Veridis Joey lump Lobster Hero in with harassers, Or did Joey not say anything bad about Lobster Hero? For the last fucking time, it's either one or the other. It cannot be both.
Nice to know you agree, Alex the Lion from Madagascar 3. Anyway, I think I'll end this on a positive note. What do you say, Ro?
There are still 3 minutes left.
I don't really care. Think I'd rather end on you, me, and Alex all agreeing that the lobster boy is molding.
I can't even be mad that you're refusing to show me the respect of at least responding to my points because the video is finally over! On that joyous note, here are my final thoughts.
Jesus H. Christ, this was a bad video. Sandy not only uses fallacious reasoning to dismiss many of the problems I raised with Ephraim's video on Lobster Hero, but there are also several instances where he misunderstands, if not outright misconstrues, the arguments I'm trying to make. He's also a dirty hypocrite who will criticize me for not explaining my issue with the trans scene in High Guardian Spice beyond saying it's bad, a criticism I ultimately do agree with, while going on to make not one, but 2 baseless claims about Lobster Hero's content. While it isn't the worst video on me I've ever seen, Doodle Tones' segment on me from her top 10 worst commentaries of 2022 list is far worse. It certainly isn't a good one. Nor did it convince me that Ephraim and Veritas Joey did nothing wrong.
I'm Alex the Critic, and I swear, videos like this are gonna make me die of a heart attack because of how worked up I get over them. I'll see you guys next time.